All right. Beautiful. Make sure that's all set. That's all set too. All right. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Let me see here. Make sure this is all good to go. All right. Some of this might be hard to see, so if I have to, I'm going to readjust as needed. Today we're doing hips. You're going to need a chair as a prop. Doesn't necessarily have to be a chair, but it should be something that is roughly waist high. You could even use a small table like this to get the job done, and all will go well. Let me see what's going on here. It looks like we're having some Facebook trouble right now. I'm not sure why. Hi, kitty. All right. This should be good. So we're going to start working into the hips. You're going to go onto your prop, whatever it is you're using. Again, I recommend a chair, table, little desk, chest of drawers. You could even use the backside of a couch if yours isn't pushed up all the way against the wall. All of those will work. From here, you're going to grab. Now, you want to make sure that your width is about shoulder width or as wide as you can go on whatever implement that you're choosing to use. There's going to be a bit of instability here, and you just want to make sure that you have a wide base for support. Now, from this position, you're going to shoot your butt back as wide as you can. The idea here is to try to have a locked leg on whichever leg you're going to stand on first. I'm going to start with my left leg. So from here, right leg's going to go out behind me. Now, I'm not letting this hang. I am trying to get up, activate the glute. And from here, I'm folded over. Again, you could even use the table behind you or a couch or whatever it is to support that straight leg. Now from here, I'm going to actually open up, right? So I'm dropping the hip and I'm opening up to this side, trying to keep this leg straight. Now in this position, the stretch is running all the way up deep into the groin, and that is what you're looking for. So weight of this standing leg is closer to the heel, but you might want to think midfoot. So midfoot is going to be that spot that is right on the front side of the ankle, right? Right here, dead center of your foot. That is midfoot from heel to the middle toe or your longest toe. So again, focusing on midfoot. So there's a movement component here. So you're going with your hips square, head looking at the floor, and then you are opening up towards the front. Coming back down, rotating in, and opening up towards the front. Again, that stretch is going to be right in here, right? Running all the way up into the groin, even on the back side of the leg. So coming down, opening back up. Hold this stretch. Really focus on it. Going back down, rotating back up. It is this planted foot where you're going to be feeling that stretch. And you want to make sure that as you come down, there's a large sweep here from that leg coming all the way up, opening up to the outside wall. Focusing deeply on that stretch. Here we go. Back down. Open back up. This leg does not need to be completely straight. You're just using it as a counterbalance. It does need to be out though. Again, I can still feel this stretch from here with this leg dropped, but you're missing out on the glute engagement that you can get from opening up right here. Again, you see now why you need this prop. So we're gonna do two more on this side. Rotate back down, give that low back a little bit of a break, come back up and open. We're gonna do one more. Back down, come back up, open up. Now we're gonna switch to the other side. Give that leg a break. You might even feel the stretch behind the knee. That's good. It's a good spot to feel it. It's what we want. So from here, now I'm doing my right leg, opposite side, kicking up, then I'm opening up, now feeling this stretch on my right side. Coming all the way back down, rotating, and then I'm opening up, kicking that leg out behind me, feeling that stretch. This is hitting the posterior fibers of the adductor magnus. That is what you feel deep into your groin, and as well as parts of the hamstrings, specifically the semitendinosus and the semimembranosus, and that is what you're going to feel right on the back side of the knee. So again, kicking back, opening up. If you're not feeling the stretch, it's likely because you've got your weight shifted into the front part of your foot onto your toes. You do not want to do that. You want to keep it on that midfoot, right? That's that spot right above your ankle, right? So we're kicking back. You can bring yourself forward, bring yourself back into the great position that we're looking for, and then open up, right? Feeling that stretch. You really want to pause here, focus on that stretch, squeeze both glutes, rotate back down nice and slow, keep the weight towards the heel, if anything, off of the toes. We're looking for that midfoot. Very good. We're going to do 3 more here. That's number 1. Dropping down, nice full range of motion, and 2, really opening up, and 1 more, dropping down, nice full range of motion, coming back up, and 3, beautiful, beautiful. Coming down, shaking this out. We are going to do a sequence, so we're going to come back to this, just not yet. Now, we're going to drop down. We're going to do a very familiar stretch. I call this the couch stretch. Today, we're going to use an actual couch. So you're going to pull your feet all the way to the couch, soles touching. You're going to pull the right leg up onto that couch, right? So the shin is touching the front of the couch. The knee is pulled all the way to the front. If this position causes you any discomfort in your knee, you can kick that out 1 to 3 inches. I would like to see it be all the way touching, but if you have to pull out and go away from the couch, do so. Now, from here, you're going to bring that left foot up. You could even pull your chair towards you for some extra support, which I do enjoy doing. The idea here is that we're trying to stretch the muscles on the front side of the hip. These are what bound us and can inhibit glute activation, right? That means turn off our glutes. And I find that if you have a prop to hang on to, something to support yourself, you're not putting as much weight into that front leg, which can cause a little discomfort. Then people end up spending so much of their energy focused on just holding themselves up instead of on the stretch that we're looking for. So for me right now, it's this right side leg. Whatever leg is down onto the ground, that is the leg we're looking to stretch. And again, that's coming all from the hip. When we're up like this, you're actually stretching your rectus femoris as well as the iliopsoas complex, right? The rectus femoris is the only quad muscle that crosses the hip and the knee. So you're literally going to feel this coming from the front side of the hip running all the way down into the knee. If you find that even with this support that is too intense, you're going to drop down and then try to access this range of motion from right here, right? You don't want to be too far tucked back. You need to be pulled forward, actively trying to squeeze that glute on the side that is back. So we're going to go from here. Take 2 big deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. 1 more. Climb back up. We're going to do 2 more breaths. Excellent. Drop down. We're going to drop that foot back down. Now we're going to switch sides. So my left knee is going to kick all the way up to the couch. I'm going to bring my right leg up, trying to create a nice 90-degree angle at that knee joint. From here, again, pulling myself back up, using my chair as support to help me. Not necessary, but I promise makes it a hell of a lot easier. Good. Again, if you're getting some knee pain on this back leg, you can kick it forward about 1 to 3 inches, but the goal should be to try to have that knee all the way pushed up against the couch. So take a few deep breaths here. Again, you might be worse on one side than the other. Again, and remember, when we do these, if you can kick yourself all the way to one side or all the way to the other side and you go outside of your pain cave, then you are moving too much to one side. You definitely want to focus on the stretch that happens on the front side of your hip. If you're falling outside of that stretch, then almost nothing is happening. You will make no change. You can assure yourself you are doing it wrong. You should be hunting for about a 7 out of 10 on your own personal intensity scale. That number is going to mean different things to different people. If you know that you get up into this upward position, and even with the support of the chair, it becomes too much, we're going to drop down. Focus right here. You should be focusing on the stretch on the front side of the hip, of the leg that's up, as well as trying to contract that glute, right? So try to squeeze that butt cheek on the back side. This leg is here for support, nothing else. Find that nice stretch on the front side of the hip. Should feel pretty good. 2 big breaths. And 1 more. Good. We're going to come up for 2 more breaths. Excellent. We're going to come up. Excuse me, kitty cat. Excellent. Get that chair out of the way. Now, from here, we're going to take a relatively wide stance, right? We definitely want wider than hip width. Hip width is going to be about right here. Shoulder width about right here. We definitely want to be wider than that. Toes pointed out slightly. Now, keeping the gaze forward, you're going to lunge to the left. Notice knee stacked on top of ankle. I'm not way out here or driving way like this, right? That would mean that you want to go wider. Also, if you notice that you're driving this knee too far out, you can shoot your hips back and it'll stack that knee over the ankle. Just exactly what we're looking for. So good. Coming here, feeling that stretch. Similar spot as when we did that first stretch here. So feeling that stretch, coming back up, coming back down. Shooting back. Weight's going to be on the heel, knee stacked over ankle. Again, focusing on the stretch that's going in the groin or behind the groin, right? Kind of where that spot where your butt cheek turns into back of thigh. So good. Come back up, come back down. Make sure that knee stays locked on the straight leg, shooting the hips back. This is a dynamic stretch, so should get a little bit of movement in here. This is about the speed that we're looking for. If you can move tempo sync with my movements. Excellent. Good. Focusing on both the back and the front side of the hip. We're going to do 2 more on each side. It's 1, 2, 2. Excellent. We're going to do that same exact routine 1 more time. So going back to the chair. I'm going to start with my left leg, kicking this leg back, and now I'm opening up. Should feel a little bit different. We've been doing quite a bit of stretching on this already, so coming back down. We do 5 total. 2, 3, dropping the hips down. 4, again, looking for that stretch deep in the groin. And 5, excellent. Drop down, switch legs, other leg comes up straight. Again, doing 5 right here. 1, drop back down. 2, 3, weights in the heel. 4, 1 more. And 5. Very good. From here, you're going to pull that chair a little bit closer. We're going to go back into our hip stretch on the ground, working the front side of our hip capsule. So again, pull your feet all the way to the couch, wall, large structural surface that you're supporting yourself against. I'm going to start with my right, pulling my right all the way to the couch or wall. So that knee should be touching. Again, if you get any discomfort, you can pull away about 1 to 3 inches. Get your chair support up close. We're going to start in this low position, really focusing on finding that stretch on the front side of the hip capsule. So we're going to stay here for 3 breaths. One more. Don't come down out of this position. From here, you're going to use the support of whatever it is you have, whatever implement you have in front of you. Focusing again now on that nice tight stretch that's going on the front side of the hip. 2 more big breaths. Jazzy says hello. Excellent. I'm going to have you come down, drop that support leg, bring your right leg off of the couch. Now you're going to go left leg rather, up all the way to the couch. Knee is touching couch wall, whatever it is that you're using. From here, you're going to bring that right leg up for support, and we're going to be focusing on the stretch now on the front side of that left hip, actively trying to squeeze the glute. You could even go in intervals of squeezing the glutes so you can contract, relax, contract, relax. Beautiful. 2 more breaths. Good. Now we're going to come up onto our support structure. For me, this chair. Again, we all have only so much range that we're capable of going on the left and right side, especially in this secondary stretch, right? This is a pretty advanced variation of this stretch, which is why it's pretty difficult. If ever this is too much, again, just remember, drop back down. For me right now, I'm going to stay up here. 2 more breaths. Excellent. Come on up. Move that chair out of the way. From here, taking that nice wide stance, we're going to go into that dynamic stretch again. So lunging to one side, focusing on the straight leg stretch. If you're driving too far over, your torso is too upright, you want to shoot your butt back, right? So side view. Notice that knee travels forward. Because I'm upright, if I shoot my butt back, that knee stacks right over the ankle. So you do not want to be here. You want to be here. And you're going to feel that stretch come right in to the inside part of that groin, right? So coming in right here, back up, switch to the other side. Very good. Should be a relatively decent pace right here. I don't want you feeling like you're getting any muscular soreness, right? You can take your pauses at the top and bottom of this movement, but it should definitely feel like a bit of a bounce going from side to side. Excellent. For those of you who have taken my class, you know that I typically do 4 mobilization patterns when we're actually in the class. Gives you a chance to work on your left and right side. Usually all 4 sync together and feed into one another. They work cohesively, and that's what we're looking for. It's kind of what these stretches are right now. We're going to get into a little bit of a glute activator towards the end of this. We're going to do 1 more on each side. Very good. I find that these sequences of stretching help a lot more than just doing one stretch after another, after another, after another, after another, after another. Using these sequences as a whole, create a little bit longer lasting change. It's almost like I'm bringing you through a round system, right? Sets and reps, if you will, but with stretching, not with actual movements. So from here, we're going to go back to the chair. This time, we're just going to do 3 of these stretches, right? So you're kicking that right leg back. Weight is in the heel or mid foot of that left leg. You've rotated down, and now you are opening up into this stretch. Very good. It's 1. Coming back down, opening up into this stretch. Hold. 2. Back down, open up into the stretch. 4. 3, exactly. Now, if you're pulling too far forward, leaning too much on the chair, lean back. Try to straighten that leg and feel that stretch coming way up high into the groin. Good. rotate back down, bring that leg down, kick the other one up, come back up, shooting back. Excellent. 1, 2, and last one, 3. Very good. Come back down. I'm going to pull that chair nice and close. Get into the ground. Drop that right leg all the way up onto the couch and or wall that you're using. Switch for that standing leg. Very good. Focus on trying to squeeze that glute. Really feel that stretch on the front side of the hip. It's quite intense for me right now. I would definitely say I'm at 7 out of 10 that I keep talking about. I'm not trying to squeeze any more than my body is allowing me, right? We can't force it. We got to be gentle when it comes to coaxing our body into these new positions. The body wants to stay where it's at in homeostasis, but we need to provide a high enough level of disruption to cause change. And that's why that comes with a small amount of discomfort, which is okay. It's that hurts so good kind of thing. Good. From here, we're going to pull ourselves up. Focus still on that deep, deep stretch. Front of the hip capsule. I do like getting a little movement in. You never know. From right here, I feel like the stretch is pretty intense. And if I move over, I find where I need it, right? And that's what this is about. I always talk about scanning techniques. That movement is that scanning technique, and it helps us settle into the spot that we actually need to be focusing on. And for me, without a doubt, it is right here. I feel it. Excellent. Dropping down. I'm going to switch to the other side. Kick that leg up. Really focus on trying to find that spot that we need to work on. Good. Right here. Feels good. Excellent. One more breath here. I'm going to pull myself up. Again, do a little bit of movement if need be. Ooh, there it is. Find the spot you got to work on. It might be pretty gnarly. It definitely is for me today. I'm super tight. Been doing a lot of single leg Bulgarian split squats. Definitely can tell once sometime in my bilateral movements, like my barbell squatting, I feel my right leg has done a little more work than my left. And now I've been doing a lot of single leg work trying to fix that. And I can tell I'm pretty tight on that side. So you might be tighter on one side than the other. Nothing wrong with that. Good. From here, going to step up, kick that chair out of the way. Going to go into our last round of those dynamic adductor magnus stretches. So shooting that hips back towards the wall behind you, coming back up, shooting back. Now, again, remember, this is a stretch, not an exercise, right? You shouldn't be feeling fatigue, muscular fatigue from this lunge. If you are, you're probably going too fast. You're probably going too deep. So take your time here. Focus on that stretch. Come back up. Drop back down. Very good. Back up. Excellent. We're going to do 2 more on each side. That's 1, 2. Very good. And 1 and 2. Excellent. Come together. We're going to make our way down to the ground. Now, from here, we're going to be doing some glute bridges. So everything we've done so far has been about stretching the muscles that inhibit or take over for our glute function, right? For example, the posterior fibers of the adductor magnus act as a hip extensor, which is the main function of the glute. Sometimes we can get in a habit of using those more so than our glutes. So we stretch those, we stretch our hamstrings, We open up the front side of the hip capsule, which allows structurally, which means allows our bones to get into a good position. And now we reinforce that stretching that we just did with proper activation drills. So from here, you're going to lie back. Your hands are going to be trying to touch your heels. Your heels should be pulled as close to your butt as possible. You're going to lie your head down on the ground. And from here, you're going to drive up, squeeze the glutes tight, and then drive back down. You're going to come back up, hold tightly, try to squeeze the glutes as hard as you can. Very good. Come back down. Some of you are going to have to go wide. Some of you are going to have to bring in very, very close to feel that glute contraction, but play around with your foot position. See if your feet need to be at an angle or completely straight. Everybody has different hips, so everybody's going to need to be in a different position here. And I'll tell you, if you find it in this ground-based position, it's going to clue you in at where you need to be when you squat. Are you closer? Are you wider? Same with the hip thrusts, right? All this has some very large carryover. So again, focusing on those tight glute contractions. Now, if you're in this process, if you're in this position rather, and you're going through this process and you notice that as you come up, you feel it way more in your hamstrings than you do in your glutes. I'm going to have you try to lift your big toe off of the ground, right? Shoving the ball of your foot into the ground, and most of the weight is going to be on your heel. This is going to preferentially shut off, rather, your hamstrings. Is it going to be a 100% decrease in activity? Absolutely not. Is it going to bias the glutes more than the hamstrings? Absolutely. And that is why we hold these positions for a long time. So you drop back down, come back up, squeeze tight. We're going to do about 4 more of these. So again, you're really focusing on that tight glute position. You want your abs tight, making sure that you're not cheating yourself. Using your low back for this motion should all be coming from the hips. So dropping back down, coming back up, very good. Sometimes I do like to lift my head up to make sure that my abs are engaged and I'm not cheating myself, dumping all of this tension and volume into my low back. Sometimes that's not a bad thing, but we are not focusing on that right now. So we're going to do 2 more. Very good, very good. And down, come back up for 1 more. You should be feeling a nice little burn in your booty. Good, focus on that tight glute contraction. Focus on it. 3, 2, 1, back down. Very good. So, as we go through these positions, you may notice that you have more glute activation afterwards than you did beforehand, which is exactly how it should be. Take those 3 movements now, if you've got the time or the desire throughout the course of the week, whatever you want to do, and repeat that cycle, right? So we went through the chair where we opened up our hip, standing on one single leg. Afterwards, we used the couch to stretch the front side of the hip capsule. And then we did the dynamic stretch where we went left, right. And you'll do those 1, 2, 3 rounds, and then you're going to jump into your glute activation. If you can do multiple rounds of the glute activation, or you can go stretch, right into the glutes, and then reset, stretch, right into the glutes, and then reset. The more times you go through this, the better. I would say around 3 times going through the entire sequence is solid. If you followed along with me, you know that you probably feel a little bit better right now than you did at the beginning. The more you do this, the better you feel, the more it compounds. So take your time, go through these sequences, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Hope you all have a great weekend and a great start to your week. And thank you very, very much for chiming in. Appreciate you all.